Hi, Pastor Bear here. Now, this is Joseph in Genesis, part 3, which is based on Holy Bible, Genesis chapter 41. As we recall from part 2, the cupbearer was restored and the baker was hanged. And 2 years later, the cupbearer forgot about Joseph. Pharaoh had a dream. In his dream, he saw 7 healthy, well-fed cows that came out of the Nile. Then he saw 7 sickly and thin cows come out, and they devoured the fat cows, but they were just as skinny as they were before. And he woke up. And then he had a second dream where he had 7 heads of grain that were plump and good. They arose, and then 7 heads of grain that were also thin and scorched by the east wind. They came out and they devoured the plump ones, and they were just as withered as they were before. They ate the plump ones. They woke up again. So morning, I guess he fell asleep again. Morning came, he was still troubled by this dream. What does this dream mean? So he called his wise men and musicians, told them a dream. He said, and they said, sorry, I can't help you. So then the cupbearer said, Your Majesty, I'm sorry. There is a Hebrew that interpreted my dream for me and told me that after 3 days I would be restored to my position. That's exactly what happened. So he interpreted the dream, and so Pharaoh said, bring him in. So they called for Joseph. He got from the dungeon, it says, interestingly, pit or cistern. Shaved, changed his clothes, and went to Pharaoh. The Pharaoh said, I had a dream, and here's my dream. And he related the same dream as I said before. The well-fed cows came up, and the skinny cows ate the fat cows. And then he woke up, slept again. Plump grain came up, and the withered grain ate the plump grain. They were just as withered as they were before. And he was saying all the skinny cows were just as weak and sickly and so on. Not that if you're skinny, that means you're sick and weakly. It can be that way if you lost weight because of illness, but that's another story. He never seen a cow that's so sickly and thin in his life. And then when the sickly cow ate the well-fed cow, they were just this is worse off than they were before. And same way with the grains. When the plump grain were eaten by the withered grain, they were just as withered as they were before. So Joseph, okay, this means the same thing. The 7 well-fed cows and the 7 plump grain are 7 years of prosperity. The 7 skinny cows, sickly, thin cows, and the withered are the 7 years of famine that will immediately follow the 7 years of prosperity. And so this is the dream given by God as a warning for you that so you can be prepared ahead of time. So therefore, I would suggest, Your Majesty, that you appoint someone go through all the land and take out 1/5 of the harvest in Egypt and store it in the cities, so that grain will be preserved during the time of the famine. Then the Egypt will not be wiped out by it. So Pharaoh said, I like your suggestion. Yes. And since you are the one that had the God's Spirit in you, I appoint you, Joseph, as you were more wise and discerning than anybody I know. So you are over my house and all my people. They obey your commands. Only I am higher than you. So Pharaoh took his signet ring off and put it on Joseph, and clothed him in fine linen garments and a gold chain around his neck, which I think was his way of saying, he was head honcho now. I call it Prime Minister of Egypt. And so I had the servant go before him, make way. You've seen in the movies where in the Middle Ages where these hot shots, the nobles or majesty, they go through and they get people to shove people out of the way. You don't get out of the way, you get trampled. That's the way it was back then. And so nobody able to do anything in Egypt without Joseph's permission. So then at that point, get it right here. Pharaoh gave Joseph his daughter. I might crucify this name here, bro. Zaphenath-paneah, and gave him his wife. Oh, that was Joseph's name. Excuse me, his new name. And gave him his wife Asenath, the daughter of Pharoah, priest at On. So then Joseph immediately got to work. I don't snap my finger very well, but anyway, you get the idea. So then he said, Joseph was 30 years old when he became prime minister of Egypt. Now, y'all, that's 17 years between his being sold as a slave. Potiphar was probably briefly, spent most of the time in prison, that's my guess. So he started collecting all the food in Egypt, didn't waste any time at all, and storing grain. And while he was doing that, 2 sons were born to him before the years of famine arrived. The firstborn was named Manasseh. And I got the comment down here that Manasseh sounds like the verb forget. He says, God has made me forget all my hardship and my whole family. And his second son was named Ephraim. And I got a note down here that says, the name Ephraim sounds like the word for fruitful. He said, God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. So then the 7 years of abundance ended, and the 7 years of famine started, just like Joseph said, or God told Joseph how it went. The whole land was stricken with famine, and people were crying out, Pharaoh, please save us. And Pharaoh said, go to Joseph and follow his orders. And so the famine was so severe, so Joseph opened the storehouse and selling grain to the Egyptians and whoever else wanted to. So every land came to Joseph to buy grain, for the famine was severe in all the land. So that's the setting, y'all, for in part 3, chapter 41. And it's a longer chapter, so I just put it by itself. So again, I ask you if you like my presentation, please subscribe, please like or don't like button, and comment. Positive comments, constructive criticism, but like I said, negative only. Bye-bye. So that's it for today, and the next time will be chapter 42, and probably, just 42 and 43, or just 42 by itself, and that will be part 4, 3 or 4. Yeah, keep track of it. Yeah, you know what it is when I get to it. Okay, anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.